Hello, you're very welcome to the Irish Independence League of Ireland review video, joined tonight by Dan McDonnell live from Derry City. I was just at Dalymount. Dan, you were just at the Brandywell. We're
We
not at
were
the
there.
stadiums.
We were
We're not.
there. Can we just clarify? We actually were there.
We
This
were
is not
there a
a
couple of
scandal.
minutes, a couple of minutes ago. A couple of technical difficulties meant we had to delay our recording tonight, so apologies. This is coming to you a little bit later, but the show must go on. Dan, the show goes on. 5 games look back on this Friday night. Big wins for Shelburne, Bohs, massive win for Dundalk, Pats and Shamrock Rovers as well. But I might start at the Brandywell with you. And on one hand, Shelburne, that's a big win for them, even if there's another defensive injury concern for one of their defenders. But then on the flip side of the coin, that's a bit of a poor result for Tiernan Lynch, given the last couple of weeks they've had in their home form.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's probably nice for Shelburne that they're not the story tonight, and they're not the story. Like, the story is Derry City. And look, I suppose, we talked about this game in the preview. It was always likely to be that way for anyone who lost this game. If Shels had lost, it would have been, Jesus, what's happening with Shels? It's 3 big games in a week, and they haven't, 1 point. But unfortunately for Derry City, it's them. The one thing about doing it a bit later tonight, like I've spoken to the managers, and Tiernan Lynch, like, very, very downbeat afterwards. Strange, like sometimes he can be a little bit, I wouldn't say short, but he can appear a little bit chippy at times, whereas after the game tonight he was probably a bit more, he was quite open, but sort of like someone, I don't know, it was like someone, I don't want to use the word resign because it's definitely not that, but quite sort of reflective in such a way where you're like, wow, like he's almost admitting this is a bit of a struggle at the moment. Some players can't play 90 minutes. It's not happening. There's no excuses. Difficult situation for them. Like, just, at the full-time whistle tonight, there were boos. The players do a little mini lap at the end, and they were getting booed. A few shouts at Lynch. Not happy. And the mad thing is, like, I was at their previous home game against Waterford. They were booed at half time. Tonight, even though they were 2-1 down, they weren't booed, because in the first half, actually, they had spells, where they were on top. But 1-1, they were quite good for a period of time. And as you mentioned, Sam Bone got injured. That was the player. But it was weird. The Shels reshuffle. Norris went to left wing back. Dan Kelly went to the right, and they ended up being involved in the goal Dan Kelly scored against his former club. And to be honest, in the second half, you're looking at Shels back 3 again, with Rossi, the new player, Gannon and Ledwidge, and you're thinking this is a defence you can try and get at. I think Sean Gannon had a new baby this week. There's a lot going on there at the moment. Like, they're really down to the bare bones at the back. Derry didn't ask questions of them, and that's worrying.
Dan, where does this leave Tiernan Lynch? Obviously, it's early days in the early weeks of the season, but it's not like we're in the first week or the second week where we're 6 rounds in now, like more than halfway through the first set of fixtures. 3 defeats from their opening 6 games for a team that were being talked about, title challengers, really pushing Shamrock Rovers. We saw how far off they were last week in Tala. And tonight, I was listening to the LOI TV on the way home, Tiernan Lynch saying, that they just didn't show up tonight again. So I suppose where does that leave him? And we are coming into the busy period of the season too.
Yeah, it just leaves him under pressure. There's a lot of pressure with this job locally. Just doesn't seem to know his best team. Changed the system tonight, went to a back 3, but they were still quite open. He said they changed system to stop conceding so many goals, but then Shels still looked like they cut through them a lot. It was a difficult night for them. Like, Shels knew what they were going to do. They were sort of, there was pressure points. They were trying to put pressure on James McLean in midfield when they could, and they also sort of seemed very confident getting in behind getting in behind Derry at times as well. And Derry looked a bit, they couldn't really get width at times in the second half, despite having wing backs. And yeah, a struggle for them. And they got a Pats on Monday, which is a tough place to go, I guess, right now. We should move on. That is the thing. Like, we have, I don't know where we go. We'll talk about Pats because we've gone to Pats, and they are a team who, again
4 wins in a
tonight,
row.
they're 1-0 down to Drogheda early, and you're thinking, oh, have we all gone too soon, and sort of suggesting the corner is turn, and then they come back and they score 4 against Drogheda. That's a real like Stephen Kenny team trait, to sort of freewheel a little bit to the finish line. So,
sorry, Dan, just looking there, 4 against Dundalk, obviously 1-0 against Galway, 3 goals against Shels, 4 against Drogheda, and not just the goals coming from 1 or 2 players. The goals are really being shared about the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they are. Although I think the big thing is that Edmondson comes up with the big goal, to equalise, and also a goal from Keane Levy, who probably needs to work on his efficiency. That's definitely a weakness that he has. And Kenny has spoken about it. Now he's got a winner against Galway and a winner against, well, not a winner, but like an insurance goal tonight. Now, Drogheda did miss a penalty as well, we should say as well. At sort
Mark
of one
Doyle, sliding doors.
Yeah, now I gathered Kevin Doherty was quite critical afterwards again. So they're obviously suffering a tricky season.
That's a massive result for Pats coming into Derry, as you said on Monday. Candy Stripes under pressure and needing a result themselves. Dan, I might just move on to the game. I was at Dalymount tonight, my first time at Dalymount this season, and a real probably game of 2 halves, you could say. Galway actually have had a pretty good record against Bohs the last couple of meetings. I think 2 wins and a draw against them in 2025. But I thought they were well off at the first half. Real struggle to get out of their own half for the majority. Thought Bohs started really strongly, sending Mullen really bright early on, left back, pushing high, and allowing Harry Vaughan that license to kind of take the ball on the outside or cut back inside. He linked up really well with Vaughan a couple of times, and I've watched Harry Vaughan a lot with Irish under-21s, and really exciting player. Can beat a man, show him on the inside and the outside. So they were getting a lot of joy down that left-hand side in the first half. Kind of Ross Tierney coming in, picking up little pockets of space. Dawson Devoy pulling the strings. Obviously, a couple of days after he was named in the Irish provisional squad. But as I said, for all Bohs' possession in that first half, they didn't really test Evan Watts a whole lot. It was kind of, the more the game went on, the more you kind of thought it was just going to be another one of those really frustrating nights. The Bohs had probably a lot of last season, and the kind of feeling was that they have so far this season ground out like ugly results, I suppose, with Waterford last week. Sam Todd header from a centre half, and it was another centre half who popped up a couple of minutes towards the end, Patrick Hickey. And speaking to John Caulfield after the match, absolutely raging with the manner of that concession working all week. They knew how much of a threat Bohs were from those set pieces. Sam Todd and Patrick Hickey, 2 centre halves. They must be
converted centre half, of course.
Yeah.
Converted centre half against his former club.
I think they're 6 foot something. 2 of them much taller than me anyway. So like the glaring opportunity there. They knew the threat they had from set pieces, and just one moment switch off. Patrick Hickey heads it home. And I should say, you talk about Mark Doyle's penalty there and the sliding doors moment for Drogheda. It was the same for Galway in the second half. Stephen Walsh, I think with 10 minutes to go. We're talking a lot in football and even Arsenal in the Premier League about set pieces and long throws, and it was a long throw towards the front post. Chris Tardek knocked it on, and Stephen Walsh, point blank range, unbelievable save from Trazka, and they could have went 1-0 up, and a couple of minutes later they went 1-0 down, and I think Parker missed a absolute sitter right in the final seconds to nick a point. So I suppose while John Caulfield was pretty proud of the performance, they've nothing to show for it. So Dan, we must move on, I suppose. Dundalk, big 5-0 win over Waterford. Talked about the pressure Tiernan Lynch is under there. That leaves John Daly under a bit of pressure himself. Their season has not got off the ground at all. 2 points from their opening 6 games, and bit of a concerning injury for Conor Kearns as well. Had to be stretched off into an ambulance with looks like a pretty serious leg injury.
Yeah, no, actually a lot of the Shels staff were asking about that after, and that's obviously a big talking point of the evening around the league, and a lot of people sending him good wishes. He's obviously had a tough 2025, and that's brutal for him. He's sort of restarting his career in some respects there, you know, sort of a fresh start at Dundalk after a tough year, and to pick up an injury like that. Yeah, I mean, don't want to diagnose it now. I'm not entirely sure the details, but obviously both sets of players apparently were frantically sort of waving for assistance, according to the people who were there. So that's, you know, it's never, players obviously have an instinct for these things. So I know there's a Peter Cherry coming on as one of the oldest players ever to play in the league or something. It's there's that sort of weird sort of postscript to it where there's a stat there, but I mean, it's just on a human level, it's just terrible for Conor Kearns. And yeah, as you said, look, it's a statement result, though. You know, I think definitely whatever about the pressure on Tiernan Lynch. I mean, Waterford go to Galway on Monday now. I see he rotated his team a little bit tonight. Paul Jammon didn't start, but I mean, I'm sorry, there are just results that are just very damaging. You know, they just leave a mark. And at this stage of the season, losing 5-0 away to Dundalk, who were nearly promoted. Yeah, it's a bad one for them. And then, of course, I mean, it's weird that we did a wrap and we end up, I suppose the only good news for Waterford is the Sligo Rovers have lost as well. And yeah, look, it's early days to be talking about gaps, I suppose, but they're probably glad the Sligo Rovers haven't picked up any kind of result tonight, because then the situation would be looking even more bleak. They are the only team without a win, Waterford. But yeah, Shamrock Rovers, I suppose, I mean, it's great for them to slip under the radar at the end of the talking point, but they've gone to a place where they've had troubles in the past.
I think their first win there in almost 3 years, is that right?
Yeah, we touched on it in the preview. They've had some tricky moments there. I'm not entirely sure of the stats, but look, you know, they're down 10 men for the last 25 minutes, but yeah, 2 goals in the first half. Just look at it again, they've rotated as well, as you would have expected. And yeah, you know, they go to Drogheda on Monday, and I suppose you see like Graham Burke tonight actually wasn't a starter. Adam Brennan wasn't a starter. See, Asamoah is back from his suspension. He's on the bench tonight, so I'm just going to integrate him a little bit too. But yeah, I suppose, as we said, other teams have their stress and their strife, and our Bohs turning a corner, and all these question marks, our Pats turning a corner, but Rovers chugging along very nicely.
Very nicely indeed, Dan. That's great from Derry and from, well, I suppose from we were in the Brandywell and we were in Dalymount, but for now we'll leave it there. You can follow all the latest League of Ireland reaction this weekend with the Irish Independent. Thanks for watching.